Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone from more than 25 countries around the world joining us on this incredible occasion. I am Riccardo, and welcome to the VIAHR Foundation inaugural Global Youth Summit towards an international dialogue on youth mental health and the power of the pause. We are very honored to have you with us today. We are soon going to hear the voices of international experts, associations, and students from around the world. If you want to share your opinion, you can do so in the comment section. And remember to like and share. To open this summit, it is my deepest privilege to introduce to you a visionary person that is of great inspiration for us all, the voice and the heart of this great movement. Maria Mendez, founder and president of the VIAHR Foundation, a Dominican-born, New York-based visionary leader with over 25 years of international experience in corporate strategy and travel global events. Through the VIAHR Foundation, she has spent the last years building a global movement grounded in the UN SDG, advocating for a conscious pause of human rights and a cornerstone of mental, physical, and collective well-being. From the first Ibero-American Congress in the Dominican Republic to edition in Spain and Colombia and international location, Maria has tirelessly carried this message across continents. So, it is our honor to welcome President Mendez to open today's summit. President, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. Thank you for that wonderful presentation. Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Vacation is a Human Right Global Summit on Mental Health. Seeing so many experts, young leaders, and students connecting from all over the world is powerful. It is living proof that we are collectively facing one of the most urgent challenges on our time, mental health. My name is Maria Mendez, founder and president of Vacation is a Human Right. For more than 25 years, I worked as a global travel strategist in the corporate world. During that time, I experienced firsthand what it means to push yourself beyond breaking point. And that moment was the moment everything changed. I made a decision to transform an experience into a force from change and into path for healing. That is how Vacation is a Human Right was born. Our mission is clear: to ensure that the conscious pause is no longer seen as as a privilege, but recognized for what it totally is: a biological necessity and a fundamental human right. In a hyper-connected world that constantly demands what we say that we stay on, perform, and move faster, it is the younger generations who are paying the highest price in stress, anxiety, and burnout. And I want to tell you something important. Taking a conscious pause is not a sign of weakness. It's not a waste of time. It is an act of courage, an act of self-awareness, and an act of self-care. It is prevention, real prevention. This summit was created for you and with you. We are here to bridge geographical and institutional boundaries to build a global coalition that is both human and informative. We are not just here to talk about mental health. We are here to rewrite the global narrative of well being together by uniting the wisdom of experts with energy and creativity and the cultural perspective of you, the new generation. Because you are not only the leaders of tomorrow, you are the leader of now. And your mental health Is one of the most valuable access we have to build a sustainable and conscious future. Thank you again to each and every one of you for choosing to be here today, and more importantly, for choosing to take pause and reflect with us. Thank you, and enjoy the summit.
Thank you very much to Maria to this very inspiring words. Now we're going to listen to some of world-class international experts and leaders on mental health and much more. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Visilia Bococo, entrepreneur, philanthropist, recipient of the 2019 United Nations Citizen of the World Award, born in Spain with roots in Equatorial Guinea and based in New York. Visilia is the founder and CEO of BBES International. So it's a great pleasure to have you here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ricardo. Thank you for this kind introduction. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are joining us from today. My name again is Visila Bococo. I'm Spanish with African roots and living in New York for more than 26 years. And I've been always as a daughter of immigrants because my parents immigrated from Africa to Spain, a person with a lot of pressure on myself to really succeed in life. And what is success in life? And as a young people, you really need to know what is your definition of success, because for me, my definition of success was the definition of other people's success. So for many years, I pushed myself. I studied law, economics, I did an MBA, I studied languages, I did everything by the book. And then I went to the workforce. And of course, knowing that at that time, women, we didn't occupy so many spaces of leadership, I also put a lot of pressure on myself. So for many years, I work and work and work and work. And I did not know what it means to have a pause. And this really had a huge impact in my life and in my health, because for me, pausing was a sense of being weak. And today I learned, um, the hard way, that it wasn't. And I want to be honest with you. The next generation, I think you are wiser than we were. And besides, everybody says that the new generations are like very weak and that mental health is an issue and everything. I will tell you that at least you are taking things in the hands. And I think that is so good that you bring into the conversation, how do you feel mentally? Because before we don't even talk about it and we just swallow and we were not able to put this in the table. So this is the reason why I think that these events, that we are open up and be transparent and speak about this, it's so necessary. So, because we see that the rates of anxiety and depression among young people are in historic highs, but maybe it's because we did not have that information before. And burnout, before it was only reserved for executives, and now we know that it could be diagnosed in teenagers too. And the loneliness also has been declared a public health epidemic. So we need to do something. And I believe that in this point, we have to have several practices that will change the game for us. And we could not start tomorrow. We have to start today. So this is why I want to leave you with three ideas, three practices that we can put to work today. And is pause before you produce. 5 minutes before you open your phone each morning, sit with yourself and not with the notifications, not with someone else's news, just pause. I think the first voice that you have to hear in the morning is your own voice, not an algorithm. Secondly, rewrite the story in your head. In reality, we tell so many stories in our heads, like we don't need vacation, I'm strong. I did that for years. You heard Maria. Maria spent many years without having vacations, only committed to her work. And we know each other for a long time, and we were kind of doing the same things. And I think that the stories that you tell to yourself are very dangerous, and because become your architecture of your mindset. So I think that you need to change the sentences. And when you change your narrative, you change your life. And number three, ask for help loudly, without apology. For many, many years, I keep for myself many of the situations that I was living. And I think that mental illness is not really a weakness, it's a human experiences. Everybody we can have it. Therapy is something that some people we have to do. I did it and I feel proud of doing it. And I think it's a tool for leadership too, because if you don't take care of yourself, you could not be a leader for others. And this is why for me, VHR matters. That's why vacation is a human right, has been so close to myself, not only because Marie is a very dear, dear friend, but it's also because I think that the foundation understands that mental health is not a luxury. It's the foundation of every kind of leadership. You cannot change the world from a nervous system that is on fire. That's for sure. You cannot lead others toward meaning if you are estranged from your own meaning. So being a senior ambassador of VHR has reminded me again and again that the most revolutionary thing that we can offer young people is not pressure. It's more presence, more listening, and more permission to be whole. So for every person, young person that is here, I leave you with these three sentences, and is my pace is mine, my story is mine, and my peace is not optional. So I just wanted to wish you the best of this Global Youth Summit. I want to thank Maria and Ricardo and the entire VHR family for having me. And remember that we need to have a pause, and we deserve it. And without pause, we could not begin. So let's begin.
Thank you, Isila. Thank you.
Thank you, Bisila, for this very inspiring word for all of us. So now I would proceed with the next speaker, that is Renzo Salazar, with over 30 years of experience in human development from Venezuela, philosopher, and a coach specialist on burnout prevention. So, Renzo Salazar, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Ricardo. Uh, dear, dear leaders, young people, and members of the global community. Today we are not here just to talk about mental health. We are here to question how we live, how we work, and how we push ourselves every day. We live in a world where everything is measured: productivity, results, impact. But there is something we rarely measure: the human cost of sustain that pace. And the cost has a name: stress, anxiety, and burnout. In my work as a coach in burnout prevention, and through designing training programs with the Vacation is a Human Rights Foundation, I have supported many people, brilliant young individuals, committed leaders, and students with big dreams. And I see the same pattern again and again. They are not failing because of a lack of talent. They are breaking because of too much pressure. For years, we believed success meant doing more, pushing harder, and never stopping. But today, we know better. True leadership is not about enduring everything. It's about knowing how to take care of yourself so you can sustain your purpose over time. This is where a simple but powerful idea appears: the pause. Pausing is not giving up. It's not stopping because you cannot continue. Pausing is choosing to move forward, but in a different way. When people learn to pause, three important things happen. First, clarity returns. In the middle of constant noise, we lose sight of what truly matters. The pause helps us regain perspective. Second, energy returns. It is not just about resting the body, but also calming the mind and stepping out of constant pressure. And third, meaning returns. Because burnout is not only about working too much, it's about losing your sense of purpose. Today, we cannot continue to see mental health as only an individual responsibility. It is also shaped by the environments where people live, study, and work. That is why this conversation matters. If we truly want to prevent burnout in younger generations, we must attack three levels: personal, institutional, and cultural. We need teach skills like emotional regulation and healthy boundaries. We need redesign system that rewards overexertion, and we need to change the narrative that glorifies constant busyness. Because the truth is simple: we cannot build a sustainable future with exhausted people. So today, I invite you to make a decision, to choose to pause, to take care of yourself, and to lead by example. The next generation does not need perfect speeches. They need real models, models that show is it possible to be ambitious without burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to move forward in a healthier, more human way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ransom.
For your very inspiring words on this very important matter. Now we can continue with. We also. I wanted to make a quick announcement. In the meanwhile, we had hundreds of people connected online. This was shared. This was shared wide, so it's great to have this. Next, I would like to introduce the voice of the young global leader that are carrying this message forward. Young president and founders of some of our partner organizations that will shape the future of youth mental health. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Hitesh Sanwal. It is an Indian youth mental health advocate, social entrepreneur, in order for his work in building a peer-led support system for young people, and founder and CEO of Youth Mental Health. So it's a pleasure to have you, Hitesh.
Thank you so much. Yes, first of all, I would like to extend my thanks to Ricardo for this wonderful opportunity. And thanks to all the fellow speakers for sharing their wonderful insights and for sharing this space. I'm Hitesh Sanwal, based in India, running an organization called Youth for Mental Health. We particularly advocate for youth mental health by working with universities and largely on programs which are led by students. And that's exactly where I want to bring your attention for the next few minutes, because as we all know, and as like the fellow speakers also shared, that we know that young people across the world are experiencing mental health distress in enormous ways. We know that we have across, for example, in India also currently we have the largest population of young people experiencing mental health distress, and within the age group of 16 to 29, we have the highest suicide rate currently in the world. Across the globe, we are looking at young people experiencing depression, anxiety, alongside a lot of more mental health concerns at this point of time. And we also know, based on latest reports, that mental health is also the most cited global health concern as we speak. Uh, Parallel to that, we also know that in a lot of countries, particularly developing countries, there is a huge shortage in a way of mental health professionals. The number of mental health professionals which are there, comparison to the mental health concerns that young people are experiencing, there is a huge treatment gap there. At this point, let's take a pause and relook this. Let's try to look at the situation again from another perspective. We do have a large number of young people experiencing mental health concerns. What we are advocating for, can we also look at these young people with a lot of lived experience, expertise, the potential to be the youth advocates? Because what we know, that a large number of young people across the world are turning to their peers to seek support alongside reaching out to professionals. So can we create space or co-create spaces for young people to be sensitized, to be able to seek support for themselves, and also to have the opportunities to advocate for their peers, to not only be just be a part of the program in a given capacity, but to have space to lead the change, to be trusted with change, to be involved in policy making, decision making, building strategies, designing programs, implementing projects, right? And that's exactly what we have been doing as a students-led organization, by involving a lot of young people across the globe to lead the change. Because we feel young people for a very long time have spent time and efforts in being in the audience in a way, and I think it's high time that they get onto the stage and get the opportunity to not only represent the change, but also like be a part of the entire process. Hence, what we are trying to envision as the future of youth mental health is a lot of young people being involved as youth advocates across the world, by utilizing their own lived experiences and building upon their advocacy skills based on their own journeys and stories as well. That's what also what we are trying to do across the initiatives currently. And we do feel that with the kind of approach where we can strengthen ecosystems and communities across the world, where peers are able to support their peers with the right kind of sensitization, training, and resources, not only that will be supportive for the communities or for their peers, but that will also be supportive for their own journeys, for their own well-being. So that's what we envision, and that's these are the few areas where we feel that as a community across the globe, we need to act with a sense of urgency about how do we not only support young people, but how do we also create spaces for them to be the youth advocates, and also to be not only be a part but lead the change we all want to see. Thank you once again for this opportunity, and for this space, to the entire team behind the summit, and to the VIHR organization. Very much excited for to listen to the rest of the session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hitesh. It is a great pleasure to have you here. You're doing great things in India, so it's a pleasure to collaborate. So, next, we have now John Sese Andokali, a passionate advocate for youth development through education and formation. He holds a bachelor degree in theology and a master in philosophy, and he founded the Focus Forward Youth Organization, an initiative focused on equipping young people with the tools and guidance needed for personal and social growth. John, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Ricardo. It's also a pleasure to be here. And I also want to thank Maria. This is for me the first time I am seeing you in person, so it's a pleasure. And then also I will like to speak on 3 important points. Because when we speak about rest, it is an important tool, just as the previous speaker stated, that can, in a way, assist each and every one of us to fight stress and mental disorder. These are topics sometimes that we tend not to take seriously or not to consider. So as such, I will try to speak on 3 points to highlight the importance of taking rest in a society, and I would say in a working society. So as such, we'll try to see how to work on these aspects. So the first thing I would want to say is in a society, we need to try to work on being the change we wish to see in our various society. And the first point I would like to speak is in a society like Nigeria, with over 200 million people, where one is seen as a hard worker for the number of hours one works, it is easier to see how such can affect the relationship between people, the relationship between spouses, and the relationship especially between parents and their children. Because such effects of overworking create an avenue where children hardly see their parents. Parents may leave in the morning and come back at night. And this does not only affect the working class or the people with family, but also young people, because many young people tend to work overtime and extra time trying to make ends meet. So this in a way affects their mental health without them knowing. The previous speaker stated, sometimes mental health are things that are not talked about. So it is important to be talking about things like this. Now, the second point is frustration. Now, overworking will tend to create anger and frustration, which could easily lead to burnout. Now, studies have shown that anger and frustration usually build up in a working environment. And that often affects the culture of the working environment. Because when someone works overtime without the possibility of resting, he tends to lose the zeal and the joy of working. It becomes working for the sake of bringing, as we would say in Nigeria, food to the table. But I think it is important to promote the culture of harmony, which is going to, in a way, promote rest in a working environment and in a working setting. This is very important. Now, if we have these challenges, what can or should be done? It is important, in my opinion, to see how to create the culture of taking break, especially in a working environment. And when I speak about taking break, I'm not just referring to take a break and rest, but I'm referring to take a break on a vacation. It is difficult, for example, in Nigeria, to see a family that promotes the concept or culture of vacation. Because one, the economic standard of the country will not give you the possibility to do that. Secondly, the security also effect in the country will also not give you the opportunity to do that. But it is important in every healthy working environment to promote the culture of rest that has to do with vacation. It must not be international vacation, but it can also be promoting local vacation, like field trip, taking people on a tour, going on a trekking, going on a hiking. Things like this can promote a family setting in a work environment and not just a work environment. So it is important to promote this kind of cultures. I repeat, we cannot give what we don't have. And if we really need a working environment and a working community, we need to start with the baby steps. And it is these baby steps that is going to lead us to where we will be. And this is what Focus Forward Youth Organization try to promote. What we try to promote is advocating for young people to try in their little way to be the change they wish to see in their environment, starting with their community. And if they can be the change in their community, then this change can be extended to other places. And that is where the idea and concept of little rest that we can take in applicable manner, like taking a field trip, going out together, taking a walk, creating a familiar moment, it could promote this concept of rest and also the importance of pause, not just in working environment, but also in the family setting. So I really want to appreciate Ricardo and Maria for this initiative. And then I wish also to give my little contribution in this manner. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, John. It is a pleasure to have you here. And so now we move forward with José Luis Tallón, who is CEO of Grupo Edición Digitales Siglo XXI and co-founder of ALSEB, other than managing director of RRH Digital. He unfortunately cannot be with us, but we will now see a brief video message that he sent us. After this, we will proceed with all our youth ambassadors who will give a perspective of, we will continue to give perspective of mental health around the world.
Hola a todos y saludos desde España. Soy José Luis Tallón, embajador de la Fundación VIAHR Human Rights, y para mí pues es un placer acompañaros en este inicio del Global Job Summit. Además de mi compromiso con la Fundación VIAHR, os diré que dirijo un importante grupo de comunicación en España y que estoy en contacto constante con altos directivos, con empresas, con líderes de todos los sectores. Y os diré que hay un patrón que se repite y que me preocupa profundamente, que la sociedad profesional vive al límite, vive agotada, vive estresada. Durante años se ha normalizado el estrés crónico, ¿no?, como si fuera un requisito imprescindible para alcanzar el éxito. Nos han vendido que estar ocupados es sinónimo de ser importante, ¿no? Pues bien, os diré que hablando con vosotros, gente joven, los que vais a ser los líderes del mañana, tenéis que saber algo muy importante, y es que no tenéis que heredar esta forma de trabajar. El burnout no es una medalla de honor que debáis colgaros en el pecho, es siempre una señal de que el sistema necesita de forma urgente aprender a parar, ¿no? Y de esto creo que es lo que va a tratar precisamente este encuentro, de la pausa. A veces detenernos parece como que es perder el tiempo, ¿no? Pues mi experiencia me ha enseñado que descansar es precisamente lo contrario, es producir. Hay un periodista norteamericano, Sidney Harris, que resume esto precisamente a la perfección y dice que el momento para relajarse es precisamente ese en el que ya no tienes tiempo para ello, ¿no? Cuando de verdad justo crees que el día a día nos impulsa a ir más rápido, a ir a avanzar comernos el mundo, bueno, pues ahí hay que parar un poquito los decibelios, respirar y reconectar con nosotros mismos, ¿no? Si esperáis a tener tiempo para disfrutar, a menudo os daréis cuenta que vais a estar agotados para disfrutar. Tenéis el poder en vuestras manos de cambiar el futuro, tenéis el derecho y también la responsabilidad de construir entornos de vida y de trabajo que sean verdaderamente sostenibles y humanos. No olvidéis que el éxito de un profesional en el mundo de la empresa pues nunca debe costaros vuestra salud. Junto con la Fundación VIAHR seguiremos luchando para que el mundo entienda que el descanso no es un lujo, sino que es un derecho humano fundamental. Aprovechar este summit al máximo, compartir, aprender las experiencias y saber exactamente cuándo tenéis que frenar. Que tengáis una jornada muy inspiradora y un abrazo a todos.
Okay, we are back. Thank you for the message. We now have a very special guest that I really thank you for being us today. We have Archbishop Domenico Sorrentino, former bishop of the Diocese of Assisi Nocera Umbra, Gualdo Tadino, chairman of the Economy of Francesco, this global movement of young economists and entrepreneurs launched by Pope Francis to build an economy with a human face. Your Excellency, you joined this conversation today that is bringing together young voices from more than 25 nations, united in one belief that well-being, rest, and human dignity are not luxuries, but rights for all. So it is really a great honor to have you with us, and the floor is yours.
Thank you for the invitation, Ricardo and the other people. I'm very, very happy to participate in this global meeting. I'm just come from another meeting with young people who reflected on the life of a saint, a young saint, Saint Carlo Acutis, and reflected also on the importance of joy and peace, which are not so simple to receive in this time. And what you say about mental health is something that has to do also with the health of the soul and health of our relations. If you allow me to tell just some minutes of my contribution, I will like to link this this issue to another saint, which is really a blessed Giuseppe Toniolo, who was an economist that now is going to be rediscovered after decades of marginalization, and now is going to be rediscovered all over the world. My book on his thoughts has been already translated in Polish, in English, and it's going to be translated also in Spanish and Romanian. Thank God, it's a great joy for me. His title is Human Economy, where the adjective human is very, very important also for the issue we are discussing, because we have a great temptation in our time to have a kind of life that is really not human. But this depends also on the kinds of economy we are going to face, with kind also of relations we have, which are not good relations also from the point of view of mental health. And we also have this problem of something that has to do, and this I say not only as a bishop, as a Catholic, but also as a scholar, has to do with God, with transcendence. So let me just tell you, to give you an issue to reflect upon, on the thought of this economist, which I will summarize in the image of a triangle of a crisis. We used to say that we have three great problems in our civilization, in industrialized civilization, and these three great problems, which now I will add, are also important for the issue of mental health, which are the crisis of truth. We have no more the sense, the meaning, and just very common sense of truth. And so everyone has his own truth, and what we experience in the horizon of our communication with the social, with the internet, is something that put in our mind so many points of reference which are sometimes very confused. And you can understand that when we have all these point of reference which have no harmony, no not a synthesis. This is not good for our mental health. And used to say that there is another point of crisis, which is the in our relationship, we are more and more isolated. Used a very strong term to explain this, which was the term atomize. We are like atoms without relationship. We live more and more alone, and we die. We risk to die alone. And the third point of crisis, the ethic area, the ethical crisis, which has a name very important to discover, to this individualism. We are not inclined to give something to the others. We look at the situation of our life in a self-reference way. Everybody looks at himself and looks at the others like a danger sometimes, or anyway distant. And no, to live with the fear of the other is not good for mental health. So mental health is not only a topic of way of life to have a pause, to have a context also of environmental situations. It's not only a problem of rhythm, it's a problem also of good ideas, good ideals, and a problem of good relations, and a problem of also a good way to put our life in a very I would say under the commandment of love. We must love one another. We must put our lives together. When we give a response to this triangle crisis, we have made a good work also for our mental health. I can say, and I testify that I have a life which is very engaged, but I am very happy, very happy, and I testify this happiness. And when you remind me that I must also find some rest, some pause, I thank you, because I have also the risk of doing so many things. Now I ran to come to you with you. I'm coming from Lodi in North Italy, where I had a lecture this morning, and then I was accompanied to you. I can say that this is a very engaged life, but I feel happy. And when you remind me rest, I thank you. I must rest also. But I would like to say to you, as young people, that if you rest, but try that the three angles of the crisis are not faced and not solved, rest is not enough. It's not enough. We must rest inside to have an harmonious way of life. And so my contribution, little contribution, I don't know how much time I have to spend with you in this dialogue, but my little contribution, which comes from the thought of this great economist, blessed economist, is that. Please, so let us give our contribution to mental health, in this very a large way to look at entire life and not only just at a problem of our physical, psychical way of living.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I can really say we are always feeling blessed by your words that are such as a big inspiration from so many people around the world, and especially in this initiative that is made by our President Maria Mendez, who started this whole global movement of VIAHR.
Congratulations with this initiative. Congratulations.
Thank you. So, now we have, following this, the voices of some of our students that are participating in the global call for papers that we did. And as we said, the future is, this is an event not only for the future of the youth, but made by the youth. So now we will give very shortly, because we are running out of time, so if possible is under 2 minutes it's better, but we are now begin to give the floor to our youth student ambassador. So first of all, Carlos from Chile, please.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak about this very important subject, which is very much not talked about during our day-to-day lives, with all the events that are happening, out there, with everything that with our current, say, digital culture of being connected 24/7, having to work 24/7, or having to deal with social engagements and things like that. And we're very happy to be part of the association, to work in this on this initiative. And I mean, it's clear that the cases of mental health, or especially among our generations, among the youth, they're increasing dramatically. And it's very important, as youth, to realize, to have the introspection, to make, say, the effort to realize now is the time to stop. Now is the time to take a pause, to take a vacation, a moment of rest, a moment of a moment of rest. So it's very important to do that, to then come back to our respective responsibilities, more focused, more well rested, and with a clearer vision, in a way that can also benefit not only ourselves from our rest and from the work that we will do after, but also the people around us. So thank you very much, and I want to give the word to the next person.
Thank you very much. We now have that also just joined Uchedmi Enduka, third-year medical student doing clinical rotations in Miami, Florida, and the founder of Summa Medica Society. I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly. Maybe you can say it again.
Very good. Good morning, distinguished guests, fellow students, youth leaders, and partners from around the world. My name is Uchemdi Nduka. It's an honor to join you today. My message today is it's okay to ask for help. The organization Summa Medical Society, which is an organization founded at Ross University School of Medicine, is focused on academic excellence, collaborative learning, professional growth. Our mission is to bring together students and strengthen medical knowledge, curiosity, and camaraderie. We hope to grow this organization and cross boundaries with our message, to tell the youth it's okay to reach for help from those around us, because we are stronger together. I speak today as a medical student, training to care for the help of others, while also experiencing firsthand how difficult it can be to care for oneself. We live in an age of constant motion. We're expected to be productive, responsive, competitive, and resilient at all times. We move from deadlines to decisions, from obligations to expectations, and often without ever being given permission to stop. For many young people, especially students, rest has become something we feel we must earn and not something we inherently deserve. And yet, The human mind was never designed to function endlessly without pause. This is why I find the theme, the power of pause, so meaningful. Pause is not laziness, it's not weakness, it's not falling behind. Pause is an act of awareness. Pause is a reflection before breakdown, restoration before depletion, and connection before isolation. In medicine, we often say prevention is better than cure. I believe that the same is true for mental health. We must build a system and culture and communities that do not wait until young people are overwhelmed before offering support. We must ask harder questions. Are our schools and universities creating cultures where students feel safe asking for help? Are we treating rest as necessity or as a reward? Are we designing policies to support mental well being, or are we only reacting when crisis occurs? I hope that I hope for a future that we have competent minds, but also care for those minds. A future where ambition and well being are not treated as opposites. A future where pausing is not seen as stopping progress, but as protecting it. So today invite us all to take the theme seriously. Let us not romanticize exhaustion. Let us not normalize burnout. Let us not wait for collapse before we choose compassion. Let us build a world which pause has become part of our culture of leadership, part of the structure of education, and part of the future of global health. Because when youth are given space to breathe, reflect, and recover, they do not become less capable. They become stronger, healthier, and more able to lead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is also very important message that we also hope will be always more talked about. So next we have Natalia Lachiniskaya from Russia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalia, and I would like to give a few words about the mental health situation among youth in Russia. And it is a topic that has been gaining more attention in recent years, as it should. But however, still, it faces many important challenges. As mentioned many times before, mental health has not always been openly discussed in Russian society. The stigma limited mental health literacy associated with more severe anxiety and public discussions are lately becoming more and more common. Online platforms are spreading awareness more and more, and some organizations are working to make mental health support more accessible and acceptable, just like in Western countries. And I believe that continued openness, education, and access to support will be key in helping more and more people to feel understood and supported in the future. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Natalia, for your precious contribution. Next, we have Paolo Incelli from Italy.
Good evening. It is an honor to stand before you today representing Italy at this important international summit on youth mental health. Today, I would like to draw your attention to a growing yet often overlooked issue, burnout among young athletes. Sport is widely celebrated as a powerful tool for personal development. It teaches discipline, resilience, teamwork, and ambition. For many young people, it is also a source of identity and hope. However, behind medals, competition, and achievement, there is a quiet reality that demands our attention. An increasing number of young athletes are experiencing burnout, a condition characterized by emotional exhaustion, reduced performance, and a loss of motivation. What begins as a passion can gradually turn into pressure. This phenomenon is driven by multiple factors. First, there is the rising level of competitiveness, even at a very young age. Children and adolescents are often pushed into highly demanding training schedules with little time for rest or personal growth outside of sport. Second, there are expectation from coaches, family, institution, and sometimes from the athletes themselves. They decide to succeed, to win, and to meet external standards can become overwhelming. Finally, we must consider the impact of social media, which amplify comparison and creates a realistic standard of success and perfection. The consequences are serious. Burnout does not only affect athletic performance, it deeply impacts mental health. Anxiety, depression, loss of self-esteem, and in some cases, complete withdrawal from sport are becoming increasingly common. This is not just a personal issue. It is a systematic challenge that calls for collective responsibility. It means creating environments where rest is valued as much as effort, and where failure is recognized as part of growth, not as a defect. It also means providing accessible psychological support for young athletes, ensuring that mental health services are integrated into sport system at all levels. International cooperation is essential. By sharing best practices, research, and policies, we can build a global framework that protects young athletes and empower them to thrive, not only as competitors, but as individuals. Let us remember the goal of sport is not only to create champions, but to support healthy, balanced, and confident human beings. If we fail to protect the mental health of young athletes, we risk losing not only their potential, but also their passion. Let us act together with responsibility and vision to ensure that sport remains a source of joy, growth, and well-being for every young person. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paolo, for this perspective. Next, we have Thea Honda from Japan.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to speak today at this wonderful summit about the current state of mental health among young people in my home country, Japan. I'd like to present briefly two particular cultural reasons with my own experience to share why I think mental health is quite unhealthy there. Firstly, the traditional education system in Japan can foster a competitive environment, which contributes to worsening mental well-being from an early age. And when we enter elementary school, for instance, at the age of 6, we are confronted with significant academic demands. And as the students progress to junior high school, this workload escalates. A lot of us students attend supplementary institutions, which is the so-called cram schools. We call it juku in Japanese, where we are assigned more academic work. And attendance at these institutions is motivated by the desire to gain entry into highly ranked high schools, which eventually may influence the access to reputable universities. And so this structure, characterized by academic pressure with long study hours and competition, has had a deep impact on the mental health of the young people in Japan. And secondly, I'm highlighting the influence of hierarchical social structure, which is a significant cultural characteristic in Japan, which serves as a source of psychological pressure among young people. We frequently feel compelled to perform our duties with absolute precision to maintain harmonious relationship with our seniors. Some of you may know we call it the senpai. And in case of failure, it may relate to concerns about criticism sometimes. And this cultural dynamics, even it extends into workplace practices as well. Like, for instance, normally it's seen as inappropriate to leave the workplace earlier than your seniors or even colleagues of the same age, even if you are done with your own work. That may be viewed really unfavorably. And these have also contributed to the birth of the notion karoshi in Japanese. It's a Japanese concept that refers to the death of resulting from overwork, often associated with severe mental and physical strain. So I think that through wonderful projects and summits like we are having today, and by increasing these institutions or support centers, I firmly believe that by sharing our experiences and working together to diverse solutions, we can prevent the serious mental health crisis currently facing not only in Japan but all around the world. Thank you very much for listening.
Hello?
Ricardo, you are in mute.
Here, okay. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can. I think it's Ricardo is in mute right now.
Okay.
But you can go ahead with
I see. I see. Greetings and salutations to all. My name is Miko Liego Ursua. I'm originally from the Republic of the Philippines. I hope the tone of my discourse today is satisfactory. And as I am unfortunately in a not sufficient place to or position to academically discuss, I propose a sort of an intercultural academic manifesto. I raise a glass of water, optimism and discipline in an honor of a world yet to come, where mental health is neither bound by obsessive decolonial conjecture for decolonial conjecture's sake, without praxis, nor bound by colonial dogma meant to keep at bay that which would be otherwise a liberating discomfort with uncertainty. Let us go against that dogma that does not invite solemn preservation, but rather invites deleterious stagnation. Let the pertinent sciences to mental health be undertaken without agenda, if not the pure understanding of the other's well-being, to which we hope to be bound not in chains, but with consent born of pragmatic compassion to ourselves and to others, and also bound with duty born of genuine fulfillment. Let said understanding of mental health promise that the biases born of profit and labor exploitation be one day vanquished through a thorough and continuous comparison that never concedes to any nation any scientific hegemony, rather a collegial ascendance with other nations and all actions democratically approved. Together in decision, together in action, together in responsibility, together against stress, exploitation, and burnout, together for mental health. And let the applications of these sciences be pluralistic, conscious of whatever cultural nomos to which they are humbly introduced, and necessarily welcomed before implementation occurs. However true these truths may be, if imposed, they merely invite oppression and not liberation, and therefore no longer truths are they. Let the economies be mindful of more than coins and bonds, for not all investments ought to give back profit as it is. For the concept of entropy, paraphrase, pragmatically invites us to consider investment on the profound pluralistic mental harmony between all individuals of all peoples of all civilizations living on this planet. For said harmony is our primary requisite before any establishment of topography. Exchange done in standard health, mental and physical, must precede exchange of coins and bonds for economies to honestly occur without malice. Anything else is exploitation of youth and grand generations past alike. Thus, let us now advance, no steps redundant, and champion mental health's guardianship. Thank you.
So sorry, but I don't think that we can listen to Ricardo. Something is going on with his microphone. Ricardo, are you on? Can you check your mic to see what's going on?
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you, Miko. Thank you everybody for joining. I don't know if Maria, you wanted to say some final words of encouragement for all these young people that we have here before closing.
Of course. Thank you so much, Ricardo, and thank you everyone again for being here today. I thank you for your trust, and I also thank you for because you are amplifying your voices across the world you know what exactly the post means. It's not a luxury, it's a right. And now that we are all global, I thank you, and our compromise is with all of you. Thank you so much again, and you all have a great day.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Its Excellency. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, everybody who joined from Tokyo to Santiago to Santo Domingo to Rome. And we see you next time on other events. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ricardo. Ciao. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, and the streaming is